Architect Biando, it's a go.
Okay, go. So good morning, NREA. Good morning, architects, planners, designers, developers, brokers. Good morning, everyone, wherever you are in the world. Today, we are holding our second NREA Business Forum. We are broadcasting live over Zoom and Facebook Live. I am your host today, your Secretary General, Architect RB, and I present to you my co-host, National Trustee, Architect, and Environmental Planner, Maria Isolde Flores Prado. Architect Sol.
Thank you, Ron, Architect Ron. Good morning, everyone. Today, we are honored to have with us two national presidents from two leading professional organizations in the Philippines as resource speakers. To formally start the program, may we ask NREA Pampanga chapter member.
Okay, let us put ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord. Dear Lord, as we rise to meet each new day, please let us be filled with your spirit. Wherever we go, let us spread love, joy, peace, goodness, and faithfulness. Let us desire to become more like you and to worship you in all we do. Our prayer for NREA Business Forum today is that your will be done through this event. Take what we have prepared and multiply our efforts as only you can. Steer our intentions to align with your righteous will. Remind us of your faithful provision when our efforts fail us or fall short. May all the glory be with you. Blanket us with your peace today, Father. Keep us physically safe and guard our hearts and minds from pride and selfishness. Keep love at the forefront of our minds today and be guiding light for all we set out to accomplish and celebrate. In Jesus' name, amen.
Again, good morning. Before we proceed to the presentation of talks, we thank our generous sponsors for making this business forum possible. Shanti Gem, E. Ganson Inc., EGI, Davis Paints, Houseland Development Corporation, Forest Lake, Golden Haven. Thank you for ever supporting NREA. And also, we acknowledge our Board of Trustees, officers, and advisors for fiscal year 2021-2022. Our Board Chairman, Benigno Cabriato Jr., Board Vice Chairman, Ricky Celis, National President, Imelda Magtoto, Executive Vice President, Rizalito Red Rosales, Vice President for Internal Affairs, Jovi Francis Tupas, Vice President External Affairs, Eduardo Sanchez Jr., Vice President Chapters, Zinaida Fruto, Treasurer Nicole Ann Marie Chowa, Auditor Ruth Marie Atienza, PRO Jeffrey Bongat, Trustee and Education President Rodolfo Linen, Trustee Aniceto Bisnar Jr., and Trustee Maria Isolde Flores Prado. We also acknowledge the Board of Advisors led by the Chair Emerita and Chair Lady of Board of Advisors, Marisa Del Mar, Architect Grace Layug, Architect Felino Palafox Jr., Architect Nestor Mangyo, Alejandro Manyalak, Bansan Chowa, and Marcelito Mendoza. We also have our NREA chapter presidents for Metro CBD chapter, Emmy Polido, Bulacan chapter, Dennis Sumo, Pampanga chapter, Violeta Evaristo, Pangasinan chapter, Romel Agasita, Baguio Car, Alma Grace Sara, Bataan, Juliet Rifuerzo, Sambales chapter, Dave Lubong, Cavite chapter, Sandy Coral, Tagaytay, Batangas chapter, Rosa Maria Riaz, Mindoro chapter, Erica Catarbas, Cebu chapter, Abunjo Gultiano, Cagayan de Oro chapter, Davao chapter, Livia Pepino, and Zamboanga chapter, Jeffy Baluran. And of course, this business forum wouldn't be possible without our ever efficient NREA Secretariat. We have our Executive Director, Aurora Pusong, PRO Virgilio Maclang, Executive Assistant Lelin Santa Juana, Secretary and Education and Information Eileen Garlitos, Administrative Secretary Paul Santos, Accounting Staff Maria Lourdes Angeles, Liaison Officer Bernardo Ejada. Okay, so again, good morning everyone. Welcome to the second Business Forum Online with the theme Professional Synergy in Real Estate. So what is professional synergy? As professionals, how do we work as a team? How are we relevant to real estate? How significant are our professions to real estate? All this will all be settled as we progress with the business forum. To deliver her opening remarks, let's give a hand to our NREA National President, Ms. Imelda Magtoto.
Hi, good morning. During this COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown, we have realized that a house is more than a roof over our head, but an healthy isolation place where we can live and work at the same time. As a result, we expect evolution of new housing designs from our architects, a suitable place, location, and housing community from our environmental planners. Our housing developers will construct houses that are saleable and will cater the present needs of our housing clients where our real estate brokers can offer. So this professional collaboration and synergy is very timely. We are honored to have the United Architects of the Philippines National President, Architect Renato Heray, and the Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners National President, Environmental Planner, Architect, Real Estate Broker, Joy Acona. I now formally welcome everyone and open our NREA Online Business Forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie May. May we remind everyone of the following announcements. NREA is offering a new normal rate for new members. Also for all licensed real estate practitioners who would like to avail of the PRC self-directed learning for CPD units, type your full name with photo in the comment, take photo of the ongoing NREA Business Forum and send it to NREA for certificate of attendance with the
Architect Sol, you're on mute.
Yes, may we remind everyone of the following announcements. NREA is offering a new normal rate for new members, also for all licensed real estate practitioners who would like to avail of the PRC self-directed learning for CPD units, type your full name with photo in the comment, take photo of the ongoing NREA Business Forum, and send it to NREA for certificate of attendance with a fee. Contact details are flashed on your screen. Also, since this is a CPD accredited program for architects and environmental planners, architects automatically get 1.5 credit units, while environmental planners obtain 2 credit units. For brokers, as mentioned, and other professionals attending now, this is a self-directed learning.
Okay, so here are some house rules to follow. So only the MCs, moderators, officers, and speakers are allowed to use the microphone and camera. For your questions, type them in the chat box. The moderators will assess and handle the questions after all the speakers have spoken.
And now to introduce our first special guest speaker, a round of applause to NREA Advisor and past Chair Lady, Architect Grace Layog.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker this morning. An architect and a landscape architect, our guest of honor reinforces his strategy to always design in good harmony with the environment. With that trademark in the field, he has completed a variety of architecture and landscape projects during his decade-long stint. He dedicated 11 years as an overseas Filipino architect in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He worked with NREA, an international architecture and engineering consultancy known for its timeless and innovative solutions towards the betterment of a changing world. Then he joined the NREA Development Authority, a government agency in Riyadh. He also became a consultant in an architectural firm in China for 3 years before finally putting up his Philippine-based architectural firm. Aside from putting emphasis in the importance of environment in design, part of his profession's mission is to help improve the quality of human life. He is an active champion in every UAP's wide-range corporate social responsibility project, which is aimed at uplifting human condition and advancing professional service to society. This advocacy elevated him as a fellow of the United Architects of the Philippines. He is also a registered ASEAN architect and has been conferred Fellow of the Royal Institute of Architects, Singapore. Among his CSR project involvements are the following: rehabilitation of the Bito Elementary School in Marawi, the constructed and implemented project in Graces, specifically the female ward renovation in Quezon City, Multimedia Center in Casiguran, Aurora, and the Kapamilya Shower Na mobile shower van. Most of these projects were conceptualized and developed to serve as emergency and relief response after a sudden, overwhelming, and unforeseen event. These projects became a reality because of the support of the UAP National, UAP Bayanihang Arkitektura, UAP Cavite Chapter, ABS-CBN, Lingkod Kapamilya, and Filon Ngayon. In the spirit of dedication and volunteerism, he served as the UAP chapter president to his home chapter, the UAP Cavite chapter, from 2008 to 2010. He then served as the UAP Secretary General for 2 consecutive years, 2016 to 2018. Executive Director of the Commission on Professional Practice, 2018 to 2019, and as UAP National Executive Vice President from 2019 to 2020. For his notable contributions and exemplary service, he was honored with the FIATI Architecture Professional Awards in 2018 and awarded by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts of the same year. The Haligi ng Dangal People's Choice Awardee for his exemplary design of the Valenzuela People's Park. On top of all his dedication and commitment to his profession and the organization that he serves, he still finds time for his passion to educate future architects of our country. He is currently a professorial guest lecturer at the De La Salle University Das Marinas, Malayan Colleges Laguna, and the University of Santo Tomas. A service is the heart of his leadership, and he believes that God blessed him in infinite ways. So he returns, blesses, and helps others. Ladies and gentlemen, the National President of the United Architects of the Philippines, Architect Renato Adalia Heray, FUAP, ASEAN Architect, FRIA, PALA, and IFLA.
Thank you. Thank you. Maraming salamat po. Thank you, Architect Grace Layug, our board advisor here for that generous introduction. Salamat. Thank you, National Real Estate Association Board of Trustees and officers, to the NREA chapters and members headed by Mr. Benito Cabrieto Jr., board chairman, and Ms. Imelda Magtoto, the national president, for having me here. Thank you, NREA Secretary General and a colleague in the architecture profession, Architect Ronnie Bibiando of UAP Quezon City Elliptical Chapter, for bringing our profession closer to our allied professions in the built environment. To our very own also, and happens to be the president of the Philippine Institute of Environmental Planner and distinguished expert and resource person, Architect Maria Jorquesa A. Hacholna. A pleasant morning to everyone. On behalf of the United Architects of the Philippines, the integrated and accredited professional organization of architects in the country, I am gratified and honored to be in the presence of distinguished personalities in real estate industry. Indeed, it is with the greatest pride and pleasure that I'm given the distinct privilege to speak in front of you this morning, a timely endeavor of gathering collective insights and initiatives from different professional perspectives within the real estate industry. To tell you what, I was surprised when the invitation to be when with the invitation to be a speaker on your online business forum. I asked myself, what will I talk about? Then after some contemplation, I realized that indeed our profession are closely knitted. One cannot exist without the other. You know, designing a structure is fairly challenging but immensely rewarding journey. An architect is a valuable partner, providing innovative and technical support that will make sure that our project meets our needs and stands the passage of time. Architecture plays an integral role in the built environment. An architect's expertise in design paves the way for the end users overall comfortable and convenient living, be it for residential, leisure, or commercial purposes. These are built not only for the sole purpose of erecting structures. In every design that is turned into buildings, the end user's interest is in the mind. An architect thinks of how designs can build a harmonious relationship with every element present in the environment. A simplistic view of the role is that architects create architecture and their responsibilities encompass all that is involved in doing so. This would include articulating the architectural vision, conceptualizing and experimenting with alternative architectural approaches, creating models and components, and interface specification documents, and validating the architecture against requirements and assumptions. However, any experienced architect knows that the role involves not just these technical activities, but others that are more social and strategic in nature, on the other hand, and more like those of a consultant on the other. By choosing to engage with an architect, you are choosing to tap into wealth of technical knowledge, skill, and creativity. Modern architectural practice is steeped in history, but uses cutting-edge technology and procedure to challenge norms, ignite passion, and create buildings that will endure and reward you well in the future. An architect will provide you with much more than just the drawings for your home or alteration. You will be fully involved in creating a totally tailored solution for your living needs. An architect has the experience to see your project safely through to completion, overseeing the design, the planning, the building regulations, the builders, especially your budget. As an architect who has worked in various local and international building partners, I ask these questions. How will my design serve as a way for them to experience comfort, convenience, and safety all at the same time? How can I do to make their living experience even better without sacrificing other equally important factors? How will my plans be congruent to the living capacities and standards of the end users? Are my plans cost effective, efficient, and sustainable? All these and more are at the back of every architect's mind. These questions can only be answered by architects alone. Of course, taking into consideration every end user's perspective as well. More so, the architect's expertise, if combined with the knowledge and expertise of allied professionals in the built environment, creates a thriving and dynamic result. That is why architecture should work hand in hand with other professions to create a built environment that is suitable for its target. One of our goals as Filipino architects is to help in pushing for modern cities that are bearable, equitable, earth-friendly, and viable. This is encapsulated in sustainability. We advocate green buildings in the middle of modernization. We work towards smart cities that adhere to adaptability, leaning on the objectives of using available resources economically while protecting the environment and the climate. We also call for space-savvy residential and commercial buildings and infrastructure that are for public service and consumption. Through this, we create a built environment that is inclusive. Moreover, we call for the conversation of architectural heritage while pushing for innovative solutions. From a personal perspective, I am deeply passionate about championing a built environment that puts high regard on on our past. We can do this by putting importance on our architectural treasures, one of the vital proofs of our country's rich history and culture. As some say, we cannot just simply move forward to our future without recognizing the past and giving it utmost importance. Preserving our roots is equally important as planning for the future. While we have always been at the forefront of making livable cities, we know that we still have a lot more to learn. Take this current pandemic we are all in. As the world welcomed a standstill due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we all know that every industry was affected. The industry that we belong to is not an exception of this. Even when architects have been trained to adapt and make use of how the environment works in every plan, it was still a big challenge to plunge abruptly into a whole new setting that we have not experienced before. For one, we have to make quick yet smart decisions, adjustments, and necessary changes that lean on the minimum health standards imposed by our authorities. On the other hand, the architect's insights were sought and consulted upon, especially during the most crucial times of building necessary medical and quarantine facilities. Our expertise was sought to set these health standards in place, planning and designing a space, air circulation, formation of public places, regrouping plans for public transportation, workplaces, consideration of modular construction, and reliance on adaptive reuse, among others. As someone who has been in this industry for decades now, I can proudly say that architecture has long been helping in shaping our country's bid to progress and modernism. And as we all go through this pandemic as a nation, architecture has a big role to play in nation building as our nation steers its way to economic recovery. Architecture is an integral player in building sustainable, adaptive, and thriving spaces for everyone, most especially in the city where modernization begins and where most people are in. The city is a melting pot, and we have to help it grow better. We all know that even when the vaccine has already reached a portion of our society, and the protection we have been looking forward nears, the coronavirus is here to stay. Our profession needs to make the new normal landscape adapt to future challenges that may arise. While our industry has also been hit by the pandemic, we are grateful that our adaptive capability is embraced the new normal help in the swift transition. This smooth shift gave us more time to focus on real things that matter to help both the private and public sectors in adapting to the needs of the times. We know how industry can be of help in the sudden changes, and we are well aware of our capacities to rise from the challenges the pandemic has brought. In the past month, following the announcement of lockdown in Metro Manila last year, I have seen firsthand as national president of UAP how our field worked hand in hand to contributed our best effort to help alleviate the situation. Personally, I get to see our frontliners sacrifices in battling our invisible opponent. I saw the challenge of many of our countrymen who struggle to put food on their plate, what with the closing of businesses and job loss. It is our fervent hope in our profession that our effort is helping may somehow alleviate the hardships of our countrymen. Through these steps, we put our trust that it somehow eases the burdens they feel. Thus, let it be known that architecture is more than dealing with the built environment. Rather, our work is part and parcel of making a better society that is livable and adaptable to the future. We are here to extend all the assistance we are capable of to contribute to nation building, be it through public entities in rebuilding their plans towards the new normal, builds and design, or through pro bono services we extend as part of our contribution to UAP's trust of committing to corporate social responsibility. At this point, I would like to take this opportunity to share what our organization, the United Architects of the Philippines, the integrated and accredited professional organization of architects, have been doing ever since the pandemic hit our land, and how we are aiming to be allies in building a better and more progressive built environment for all of us. UAP extended help to our public sectors, called for a union of ideas and contribution to better serve our countrymen in this time. Through our chapters, UAP has delivered technical assistance in building quarantine and medical facilities in various regions. Various local government units as well as private companies sought our expertise in creating plans on how to adapt to the new normal, putting the highest standards of health protocols in mind. UAP also helped in providing donations for our medical frontliners, making them feel that of its resources to help our countrymen who were hit by these previous super typhoons that destroyed some regions in the country. We continue to work with the LGUs in rebuilding communities for displaced locals to make new shelters and where they can start all over again. You know, for us to improve the present condition of our life and our environment we are currently living, public or people should be aware of their personal and social responsibilities to everyone, more so for the wide range of professionals in our country. It is high time for us professionals, architects, environmental planners, landscape architects, urban planners, and others in the same field to work together, join forces, collaborate, team up with allied professions and partners like the real estate industry in coping and rebuilding our nation. To quote Mother Teresa, I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. But together, we can do great things. Hence, in the field of architecture, it is our professional responsibility to serve the community in a socially accountable and sustainable manner by giving high regard of consideration to the human, environmental, societal, cultural, and economic changes in order to adapt to the consequences brought by the unforeseen worldwide health crisis that struck us. With the world slowly adapting to life in a pandemic, architecture is being called upon to reshape our spaces as we look optimistically ahead to a post-pandemic world. The architecture profession continues to be champion of a better built environment for our country. The architect's goal is to be one with every aspect of our society, to work hand in hand and share our vast knowledge in architecture, to build an environment that is favorable for everyone, meeting each expert's standards. Know that it is our mission to help create more livable and sustainable green cities, providing a better option for our countrymen to elevate their lives in cities. We shall remain steadfast in reaching these goals. We are in a time when competition is set aside. We should rather call ourselves as a team who are vying for that one common goal to uplift and rebuild our society through a progressive human settlement that goes well with the needs of the environment. And in this challenge, we are seen as equal contributors to victory. No one is better than the other. Everyone is vital in achieving that shared goals. Truly, a synergized community can do more than individualized plans and ideas. Po, maraming salamat po muli. Isang magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Stay safe and well. Take care always. Maraming salamat po.
So, guys, a big hand to our national president, NP Rene Heray. So, thank you, NP Rene, for that very informative talk. So again, thank you, and Pirine, for that very wonderful talk. So to summarize, we are not just profession, but we are professionals with the heart. We are stewards to improve people's lives and protect the environment. To our participants, you may write them You may write down your questions in the chat box so we can start collecting them and throw them during the open forum. And to introduce our second guest speaker, may I ask our Vice President for Internal Affairs, Mr. Jovi Francis Tupas.
Thank you very much, Architect Ronnie Biando. Our speaker is the Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners 2021-2022 National President. He has previously served as PIEP National Secretary and Luzon Cluster Director, as well as the interim and eventual full chapter president of the PIEP Northern Luzon chapter for 2017-2018. She has a solid 30-year experience in the private and public sector and 8 years in the academe, practicing the varied but complementing fields of architecture, construction, real estate, and environmental planning. She has been involved in land use studies, land value capture assessment, transit-oriented development, regional and urban master planning, sustainable urban infrastructure development, social and environmental carrying capacity, ecological sanitary landfill, materials recovery facilities, urban design, airport, schools, commercial, and residential subdivision projects all over the Philippines. Now based in the Cordilleras, she substantially contributes to her professional organizations and the advocacy of research-based sustainable developments of the environment, both tangible and intangible context. She is currently pursuing her dissertation for Doctor of Engineering, major in Urban and Regional Planning. She is a Master of Arts in Urban and Habitat Planning cum laude graduate from the St. Louis University and an undergraduate degree holder in architecture from the University of Santo Tomas. Her husband is a full-blooded Ifugao Igorot, thus her name, Hak Cholna. Please welcome Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners 2021-2022 National President and today's speaker, real estate broker, architect, and environmental planner, Miss Maria Jorquesa Alejandro Hacholna. Welcome po.
Thank you very much, Sir Jovi, for that nice introduction. I also would like to thank environmental planner and real estate practitioner Maria Isodel Flores Prado for extending the invitation to the Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners. It's indeed a very wonderful time to be able to engage with each and every one of you. This is one of the pillars also of the Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners, to be able to partner with the different professionals, not only with the governance, but also amongst us professionals also, especially with the built environment. And of course, I'd like to recognize that the National Real Estate Association Incorporated is one of those that is very important to be engaging with, should I say, to be synergizing with, because we can really partner, we can really make a difference in our society. I'd like to thank also the board chairman of NREA, Sir Benigno Cabrieto. Thank you. Also, Ma'am Imelda Magtoto, thank you very much, the National President of NREA, for this wonderful time with you today. And I'd like to recognize further and congratulate the Baguio Car NREA chapter, the chapter president, Grace Layug. Thank you for the extended invitation. So for my presentation, So I've called it, the title is The Sustainable Synergy of Real Estate and Urban Planning. I myself am a real estate broker also. So having gone all experience all of these things, marketing, the real estate, doing some encouragement or being able to really pursue, present the product, whether it be the land or whether it be a house and lot or whether it be a condo during that time. And even right now that I'm practicing it also, although not that often now, but it was really a good experience for me. And I really saw that there is really a very beneficial synergy that should really be enhanced between the real estate and the urban planning. As I was introduced earlier, I started being an architect, and then from then on, pursued also the real estate brokerage, and then eventually, and right now, practicing urban planning. But for my presentation today, the objective is, of course, enhance and be able to present where urban planning and real estate can really help each other. And of course, the other built environment professionals. Real estate at the core of it, actually. So the objective of my presentation will be focusing on sustainable synergy of real estate and urban planning. In other words, the harmonious relationship between us, the urban planners and the real estate professionals. So the objective of my presentation is to be able to explain more the relationship and contributions among real estate professionals and developers and us, urban and environmental planners. And the learning outcome, hopefully by the end of this presentation, we'd be able to understand the challenges that we are facing now, not only this pandemic, but also to be able to explain the idea of economic value of the land. The land is actually an intersect, or the, how do you call it? Yes, the intersect, when you're going to use the Venn diagram, that is the intersect where real estate, the built environment, and us planners will be looking into. And there is the economic value that needs to be enhanced. Next is to be able to know where real estate and urban planning meet in this industry. And lastly, hopefully we'd be able to assess and be able to introduce that there should be a vibrant urban and rural sustainability for all of us. So what is real estate? By definition, real estate is the property, land, buildings, and air rights above and underground. All of these rights that is below the land. In short, it is the totality or wholeness of the property. So sabi nga ng iba, kapag kami nahulog doon sa property natin, sa atin na yon, di ba? Yung nandun sa ilalim, sa atin rin yon. But doon sa taas-taas din, papunta doon sa kalangitan, kasama yun sa nabili nating lupa. Yan po. So, what about urban planning? Urban planning is the design of cities and other urban areas, which includes regulations and distinctions, and also the distribution of resources. So, where do we intersect? We intersect actually in the land and its attributes. So, how are our professions would really affect the land? Real estate professionals are trained and licensed persons who makes his or her our living in some aspects by buying and selling of managing real estate. And there are some types of real estate professionals like real estate brokers, appraisers, consultants, and developers, and also real estate planners. And what about the urban planners? Or here in the Philippines, we are called the environmental planners. Environmental planners are the designers of the urban areas how does the rural areas will become more urbanized and be more profitable economically. When the rural area becomes an urbanized area, of course, the value of the land increases. And that is where some of us brokers would really be of benefit also. So this urban planner, we would look into all of these regulations, policies, and how to be able to implement a very sustainable transference from rural setting to being a sustainable urban setting. Here, we all know that this time of pandemic, we are very much affected. Yes. But there are things that we can do, such as how can we very sustainably and very healthily and safely distance ourselves, but being able also to further our economic progress. And as professionals, we do that to be able to design human settlement and our environment that would be able to give us also the economic opportunity. This one, we will tackle that further in a few minutes. Or this is now where we call maximizing the economic value of the land. We would have to be identifying the opportunities in the area to be able to maximize the economic value of the land, but being able also to sustainably progress from rural area to the urban area. And then we'll have to look at the 3V or the 3 values that is being proposed by the World Bank. First is the placemaking, or what is the worth of the place? And then the node or the connectivity of the place. And then the market potential, or how do we assess the market? So what is placemaking, or what is the worth of the land? It would have to be, here is now where proper planning would have to be inputted. So place making or worthiness can be known if the place is attractive or not, if the urban quality is good, or if they have schools, healthcare, and other infrastructures. So what we call this, all of this, it is not just the infrastructure, because there are 2 types of infrastructure. One is the physical infrastructure, where we would need all of these engineers also, and of course architects to help us with. And then there is also the social infrastructure. But the consideration of the social infrastructure is where proper planning or visioning, and where the intersect of the consultancy from environmental planning would come in. So looking at this image, at the very center of this circle is the place. And there are 4 things that make the place attractive and in good quality. And these are sociability, activities, comfort, and accessibility or linkages. So in all of this, we would have to consider as urban planners, and to be able to present the maximum economic value of the land when we are able to bring about sociability, maximize the use and activities in that area, and also provide the comfort and good image of that area, and making it also very accessible to be linking with each other. So without these things, the place could have low market value. So how can we increase or improve the value? One thing would be, of course, we planners would have to improve the value through proper planning and designing, or sustainably making the community very sustainable by dividing the land and other resources to meet the needs and current and future population as a result, so that we can affect the value of properties within the place or the area. Further, how can we maximize the value of the land? Making it more accessible. So this is now where the node or the connectivity would have to be considered also. So connectivity of the place. And when we can say it is very connected, it is when specific place can be accessible with or without the use of vehicles. So that's now where environmental planners would have to be introducing policies such as walkability, such as bike lanes, and improving all of these trains, also feeder lines, and different types of connectivity. Right now, one of the connectivity that we are using is ICT, or the internet. That's why even at the comfort of our homes, we are connected with each other. So connectivity is not just physical nowadays. Connectivity can also be through, such as this one, Zoom links. In urban planning, accessibility of the place is very important because it is one of the things that would affect the overall performance of the land. And in real estate, we know that location matter. Oftentimes we would say, as brokers, we would say location, location, location. And even in business, we would say we would have to consider first the location, next is the location, and of course, the location again. But there was one thing that I would really appreciate with the one who introduced me with real estate brokerage before. When we have this project that is really very far from Metro Manila where we used to live, and it is there in Laguna. And then we say, oh, okay, let's go to Laguna where you can have a good place. So we went there, and then I said, oh, it's very far because that is about 1990s to 2000. That was the year wherein, train or bus is really very hard to go there. But then he said, this area is not far because if this is going to be your home, it is actually your workplace that is very far. Why don't we bring your workplace where your home is? And that is the concept. And that is where we would have to envision a compact city that is very much connected. If we are able to bring about our human settlements, our houses, the built environment, if we're going to make subdivisions, we're not just going to bring them there in place of nowhere, but we are going to bring them a lifestyle. The lifestyle that is well connected at home, in their workplace, and of course, where the children would have to be going for school. So that is a concept of compact cities. Being able to maximize also the value of the land is being able to consider the market potential. So this is now where us also, real estate practitioners, would have to be considering the value of the land. As brokers would see at, okay, this is the land that, we can probably sell for this much, for 1,000, 10,000, or even 100,000. Why so? Because that is how we would have to make assessment of the market potential. So market potential, to maximize economic value of the land, is to do a market assessment. The reason we need to do a market assessment of the land is so that we need to have a more accurate and organized information about our land. Without this information, cities and other places will be having a difficulty to plan and develop houses and residential plots and other infrastructure to cope with a fast-growing population. This is now where urban planners, with all of our demographic computations, would be able to help also our real estate practitioners. And the real estate practitioners can also help us when it comes to the real market value of the land as we consider all of this marketability and profitability and maximizing the economic value of the land. One tool that we can use to do market assessment is the land market assessment. This is a tool, and the purpose of this tool is to provide an accurate and up-to-date core of information on the nature of the land market, and it is important to economic decisions, whether it is for public assessment or public development, or whether it be for private assessment and development. So this is now where the price of the land, we make statistics on the supply and services of the land, the supply and demand, of course, and then make a detailed description of the present projected projects for that would be sustainable within that land. And this is now where urban planners would always say, we would need to compute for the carrying capacity of this land, so that all of this built environment that would be built there by our architects will have a sustainable and very efficient circular economy. The drainage would be efficient, there would be enough water supply, there would be enough also electricity, and when we assess this carrying capacity, which is being done by environmental planners, all of this built environment would have a very sustainable development also. So how do we synergize now with each other? The built professionals, the environmental planners, the real estate professionals. Let us move on how do we interact? So on this slide, I'm going to talk to some output of the planners for the real estate and how the planners affect the real estate development. First, of course, is the land use and zoning policies. Well, there are many outputs of planners that would affect real estate development, but I will just have to discuss some of the few examples like this one. Nakikita po ninyo yung mama dyan. So, pinag-iisipan po niya sa dami-dami ng mga konsepto na at saka computations na kailangan i-input po natin dyan sa land use and zoning policies. This is why the urban or the environmental planners considers a very comprehensive land use plan and looking at every sector of the environment. Basically, land use involves the management and modification of natural environment and the wilderness into a built environment and regulating it with legal basis. And this is why a zoning ordinance is being implemented. In our country, zoning is a requirement by the government among LGUs at the city and municipal levels to regulate the uses of their lands according to their most suitable and best uses for the perspective of economics, social, and of course, the environmental sustainability. So for example, from the map that shows urbanization, so which one would be affected? Are the forest lands gonna be protected? Will the watershed be able to provide good and enough water and not cause floodings? And that is where the urban planners would have to be considering also. So, well, we already know the effect of not being able to plan out well our wetlands, such as what happened last year and the other years before that. In Metro Manila City, it is said that by 2030, in two scenarios, we can have constraints. We can have more disasters if we do not act now. If we, amongst the built environment practitioners, will not be able to synergize with each other and be able to make use of all of these recommendations for land use and zoning policies. The positive effect of the land use regulation on property values can occur on two ways. First is the amenity effect. This happens when land use regulations are protected, enhance, or create amenities and service that would benefit property owners. Perfect example is the property tax. Many communities use property tax to finance public services like police, of course, the fire protection, of course, the public schools, and infrastructure such as roads and utilities. The public services can help these communities prosper and make them an attractive place to live, which in turn, of course, rises the property values. And when this happens, this is good for us, real estate practitioners, business people, and of course, the whole community. Secondly, is the scarcity effect. It causes prices of the land to rise when there is not much enough home in a given area. So ito naman na yung supply and demand. Bakit tumataas yung presyo ng lupa, di ba? Kapag ka nagiging talagang very short of supply na. Or maganda yung nangyayari doon, tapos lahat ng tao nandun na. Pero okay pa rin at sustainable pa rin ang mga kalakaran doon. Very comfortable pa rin. And then yung nga, pinakita natin kanina, di ba? The place still provides sufficient social services, gives comfort, very accessible. It's very nice to live in. So all of these four aspects would have to be make the value of our land very profitable also for all of us. So in reality, the reality of urban planning and rural development. In urban planning and real estate development, roles and contributions are overlapping oftentimes, which means both of us may affect each other's directly or indirectly. By definition, rural and real estate developers is a process of land development to construct commercial and residential buildings and shape tomorrow's urban scene. This is because real estate development governs future land use and associated spatial distribution of houses and how all, of course, the inclusivity of the job also. As a result, real estate developers and practitioners provides an instrument for us, urban planners and also architects, to steer the urbanization. Here, what type of development do we see? Just like what we have said, if you are going to make or provide developments, it should not really be for housing. It should really be for human settlement. So we're not just be providing houses. We are providing a lifestyle. Lifestyle wherein they have the comfort of the house, the profitability of their job, and of course, the sustainable and progressive inclusivity of all of these schools and social facilities and infrastructures that would have to be provided for the family. Real estate development allows public planners to provide residents with a sense of cohesion and security, to contribute to job creation and a more prosperous and viable economy, and to a more sustainable and energy efficient built environment. So, what can realtors and planners, the built professionals, can contribute for the sustainability of our community? When we synergize with each other, when we try to consider each other's effectiveness, when we try to consider each other's specializations, and of course, our own contributions for this land, which is the intersect of our professions. This is by creating a vibrant urban and providing assistance to rural areas to improve their quality of life. We would have to consider the social aspect, the people, while preserving our environment. When we can say vibrant, urban, this is the place that we can have a very strong identity. And there are maybe 4 characteristics to a vibrant place. First, you can see that there would have to be people around. Second, the people, of course, are enjoying themselves and each other's company. Third, that the places is a place to meet, play, and recreate. There is, of course, the land, a place to visit, a place to experience life, and a place to be able to thrive. This reminds me, of course, of the concept of Jokshadis, which is the equistics. So the land and the people want to be connected, but the people also want to have some privacy. People, us, also want to have both this, be able to be connected, but oftentimes have this privacy of, I want to enjoy this place. And then, of course, be able to get the maximum benefit of this privacy and being able to connect with each other, the accessibility also, and be able to thrive in that area. That is what Jokshadis is said, acoustics of the land. Also, it is a place that you want to visit, just like what we have said a while ago. According to the United Nations, there are also 3 basic needs in rural development for sustainable future. And this includes improving millions of people's welfare that live in the country, thus reducing the rural-urban gap, and stamping out poverty and preventing any, or at least minimizing city migration. And this is also the reason why most probably we already have this Balik Probinsya initiative. Balik Probinsya actually is not just and should not be only a reaction because of this pandemic. It should also be our way of being able to maximize the efficiency and the profitability of the rural area. Because right now, even our kumares, compadres, they are all considering now farming, diba? Which is very sustainable. And which can give us, of course, food security also. And of course, protecting, be able to preserve the natural and landscape, and of course, the culture of the Philippines. And be able to ensure a universal access to food and sustainable farming production. I'd like to encourage each and every one of us. There is a saying that we have to be fruitful, we have to multiply, and we have to replenish the earth. As environmental planners, as built environmental practitioners, as real estate practitioners, let us be stewards of this land, the intersect wherein we can have a profitable and sustainable synergy with each other. Of course, we would have to have dominion over this land, be able to master it, but allow also the habitat that, make this land more sustainable for us. We would have to be supporting, of course, our Philippines to be developing into an inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable community. PIEP, the Philippine Institute of Environmental Planner, practices our turf in a very participatory manner. We do workshops in a participatory manner. We do all of these surveys to be able to get the heart of the people. We also would like to synergy with you, environmental planners, real estate practitioners, architects, and also the built environment professionals. Let us come together. It is the beginning to be able to realize a sustainable development for each and every one of us. I know that we can work together so that we can have a progressive Philippines and work together as one. Thank you very much. And I look forward, Philippine Institute of Environmental Planner, look forward to a sustainable synergy with you, real estate practitioners, and built environment practitioners also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, NP Joy,
Smart
for
decisions. That's something everyone wants to make. Like when buying a new place. Do you go for location? Energy efficiency? A fresh breeze? Or having no brownouts? How about smart planning and engineering that give you all of these? Take a closer look at West Insula, where you get to live easier, live wiser. At West Insula, you get perks that make day-to-day living a greater comfort. Just think of these smart features. Full backup power. When brownouts happen in the rest of the city, keep the computer, air conditioner, and everything else you need up and running. West Insula provides full backup power in all rooms, in all units. Water saving system. When it comes to wise water management, West Insula is designed to collect, purify, and treat rainwater for use by homeowners, giving you practical savings. Smart vents. And how about staying cool even when the air conditioner is off? West Insula has well-concealed vents that promote optimal airflow through every room, even when the windows are closed. Maximum energy efficiency. West Insula is engineered for ultra-efficient energy consumption. Take advantage of the patented electrical loading system that delivers maximum power at minimum cost. What's more, every homeowner gets to monitor their power consumption right at their doorstep, so you pay only for your own bills. No shared costs, no hidden charges. Atrium. Unique to the design of West Insula is the atrium, a central shaft of wide open space at the core of the structure, offering the added advantages of free-flowing air, natural light, and a relaxing ambiance. Ready to take a look? West Insula, built by EGI and Maryleaf Realty, stands tall with 25 stories at the corner of West Avenue and EDSA's shopping district. A train station, medical clinics, and malls are also just a few minutes away, so you don't have to go far to get far. Intelligent innovations at prime locations. That's what smart engineering for practical living is all about. See one of Insula Condominium's masterpieces for yourself. Schedule a visit to West Insula today. Make the smart move.
The past year has undoubtedly been challenging for everyone. But despite all the odds, we as Filipinos have always overcome hurdles through faith and ingenuity. Over the years, Golden Haven continues to provide quality service and is dedicated to helping our investors create lasting legacies. We are Golden Haven, the fastest growing memorial developer in the country today, the most complete death care service provider with world-class facilities. We strive to be the most sustainable memorial park developer, both in business terms and for the environment. We are always attuned to the times, and our agility to adapt to change has been our major asset. We are, and we will always be, the best in what we do. We are Golden Haven Memorial Parks, preserving memories and building legacies.
Thank you, NP Joy, for enlightening talk, giving importance of planning in real estate industry, which is beyond location, 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 but how we put value in our development or properties by creating a sustainable lifestyle. Again, guys, if you have questions, you may use the chat box and we will collect and read them during open forum. We now turn over the program to our moderators, the Executive Vice President Rizalito Red Rosales and VP for External Affairs Eduardo Sanchez.
Good morning, NREA people. Good morning to our guests, resource speakers for the day, and our participants who registered for this business forum. First of all, we would like to thank our two brilliant resource speakers, Architect Rene Heray and Architect Joy Hakcholna, for the very enlightening and timely subject matter discussed during this business forum. To Architect Rene and Architect Joy, let me ask the first question. Okay, to educate our non-architect audience, what are the key distinctions between the responsibilities of an architect and of an environmental planner? While both are an architect and an environmental planner play a part in determining how a community will look like, what are their specific contributions to the overall effort? Architect Rene and Architect Joy. Architect Joy, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, maybe I should be the one answering enough because I'm both an architect and also an environmental planner. So yes, I was first an architect because that's where that is my bachelor, and then progress into real estate and of course the environmental planner. One thing that I really that's very distinct for me is that architects are designers of the structure, the built environment, the buildings. Of course, we also, as architects, we also do the site development, but only up to a specific area also. And all of this, considering the climate, considering, of course, the strength of the building, also the psychology of the person who will be living there. How can that building be more livable for my client? Okay, and of course, the public as well. Lalo na kapag commercial area, commercial building yan, syempre I have to consider not only my client but also the public. But one thing that I found out at the course of my practice, and I did not transition from being an architect to an environmental planner. Actually, as an architect, ano yan, asset ko na yan as I go into the environmental planning practice. But as an urban planner, we are more focused on the policy, on casting vision in order to have a cohesive community. Outside the building, how can this building, how can my house be able to have a good relationship also, and how can I complement also my house and that house and the other houses. So as environmental planner, it is centered on how the land will be used, considering the different aspects like the environmental impact, the economic impact, the social issues, and how does the climate and everything, and put it into, there are also drawings, but more on map, more on, and how all of this built environment be able to complement each other without affecting the good circulation, the sustainability of the earth. Ayun. Of course, considering also that my house will not be able to pollute the river, the creek. So that is what environmental planners do. of course, it is more than just the environment. It is actually policy and a vision casting for the community.
Architect Rene? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. I'm both an architect and a landscape architect. Well, like Architect Joy, the architect, of course, is responsible for designing all vertical structures that are set to be constructed. While, of course, nako, binanggit ko pa, landscape architects from the heart, ano? It's all the open spaces naman, no? Aside from using creative talents when developing designs, plans, of course, drawings, an architect is expected to have a strong analytical skills and has a mastery of the codes, the building codes. Those factors may affect the construction and the end user's needs, as well as the budget. The architect is also expected to make design plans that are with a harmonious relationship with the environment, of course, making sure that while the users inside the community will live in convenience and comfort, it will not be detrimental to the health of the surroundings. And so on. Yeah, halos parehas lang.
Yes.
There's a follow-up question po. How about the role of an urban planner? How does that role differ from the architect and from the environmental planner? Ma'am Joy?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
another term. It's called urban planner naman. So how does that differ?
Yes. So actually, we environmental planners are called environmental planners here in the Philippines, but when we go outside the Philippines, we are more called as urban planners. I guess we are called environmental planners here in the Philippines because Philippines is a very tropical country, and environment talaga is the environment here is both urban and rural. Okay? So ganon. But of course the our practice is very much urban planners. So the question is, what about the landscape architects and as against the or with the urban planners? I believe, yeah, they both affected the environmental regulations and building codes. So they both must have to consider all local laws when we are working on a plan. But landscape architects, I believe, Architect Hera can probably talk more on landscape architecture, but I think landscape architects specifically focus on the layout and features of the outdoor areas and may have to consider things like existing trees, environmental sensitivities of that area. And they need to work around determining how to use that land. But urban planners or environmental planners must consider environmental factors as well, along with the community needs and the long-term development of that plan for a specific region. So more on community-wide, region-wide, and ganon. So on a wider context, we weigh much. Masyado kaming data is very important because it has to be projected, not just today, but also what about 10 years or even 20 years from today. So, and make recommendations about what types of projects that should be or should not be allowed in the different parts of the city. So, yun po. Kaya nga po kami more really into the land use and zoning, policy. Yes, the architects would make use of the setbacks, the National Building Code, and environmental planners, we also look into that. But on the other side, we look into what would be the correct setback for this. What would be the sustainable easement for this area? Ganun naman yung take po namin. Na, kasi we're into policies and mapping out on a wider context. Ganun po yung differentiation po nung landscape and urban planner. Actually, I'd like to thank the Philippine Institute of Landscape Architects. We have a synergy, ongoing synergy with PALA, with the Forest Foundation, and of course DNR. We are looking into how to make the Ninoy Aquino Wildlife Park more sustainable. So, sama po ang landscape architects at saka urban planners or environmental planners to look into the Ninoy Aquino Wildlife Park and make it more sustainable for the community. So isa po yan sa synergies natin.
Yes.
Architect Rene?
Yes.
Do you have something to add?
Both both architects and urban planners, of course, they work hand in hand to achieve a common goal of developing communities and to betterment. Urban planners decide what can be built, where and how, while architects create the actual design. Okay, while urban planners envision a bigger picture of the needs of the community, bigger, mas wider, di po ba, no? And bigger, and the impact of on its surroundings, while architects zero in specific structures, di po ba, sa mga, of course, designing plans within the bounds, ano po, no? Yeah, tama, urban planners much bigger picture, of course. The two collaborate, the architects and urban planners, and regularly do perhaps exchange of thoughts and notion. Well, together with other professionals related in the whole project as a whole. They're also bounded, of course, by laws, building codes, limitations of lands, and other regulations, other existing regulations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another follow-up question, Architect Joy and Architect Rene. Given the distinction between the three roles which you described, would you advocate that the urban planning units of local government units should have also architects and environmental planners? What balance of interest should the LGU urban planning unit seek to achieve?
Kailangan ko lang ng nag-low battery ito.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's all about
yun pong question
LGU.
is, sorry. Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, given the distinction between the three roles, the architect, the urban planner, and the environmental planner, would you advocate that urban planning units of LGUs should have an architects and environment planners too? What balance of interest should the LGU urban planning unit seek to achieve?
Yes, very true and spot on. Tama po yun. We should call on the government, and actually the environmental planners are already as per our civil service memorandum circular 10 po is sana po yung position ng municipal planning and development coordinator and the city planning and development office at saka yung PPDO po, yung mga planning position po ay para po sana sa environmental planners, because we consider really how to make the city more sustainable, both the rural and also the urban settings. And yes, I also do support, not because I'm an architect also, but I do believe that there is also a position for architects. Nakalagay din po yan sa local government code. Meron din po sanang city architects, mga ganun din po. So, nandun po ang suporta po natin. Na meron po sanang mga built professionals in the local government unit. Sa mga hindi lang po sa cities, pati na rin po sa mga munisipyo. So, ganun po.
Okay. Architect Rene, you want to add something? React. Sir, nakamute po kayo. Nakamute.
Thank you po. Yeah. Of course, I firmly believe that educating our government officials in terms of urban planning is the key. No? Kailangan maintindihan ng mga LGUs ang role ng architect, ng urban planner at iba pang professional as a whole. Di po ba? Teamwork po yan eh, no? It is our mission as architects to be consultants and advisors in matters that are related to the built environment. And if they are educated, we trust that LGUs will be guided in making decisions, leaning to the interest of the general public. With this, we will always extend our assistance should they need further advice as architects. Ano po? Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Architect Joy, Architect Rene, no? Since we're already on the topic of government, meron tong question po. Actually, dalawa po to from our audience. The first one is, some sectors insist that, quote, urban land use planning in many local government units are overly influenced by political considerations, end quote. No? What are ways that architects and environmental planners can moderate and guide such political decisions?
It is really very political, na
well, hindi naman po yata tinatanong nung nagtanong kung paano babanggain yon so much as ma-influensyahan lang ba for the better? Mm-hmm.
Yes. I know that the government authority, they are very much listening to the needs of their constituent. So wherever is their jurisdiction is, whether it be at the barangay, municipal, city, or provincial, and up to our national governance. Very participative po ang government natin. And it is stated in the Sustainable Development Goals. No one left behind. So gusto po ng government natin na talagang mapagsilbihan po ang ating mga kababayan. So I know that there are politicians who are also considering participatory planning and very much into taking care not only of the economy, not only of the health, but of course, the environment at large. So magkakasama po yan. Pagka nakita po nila na talagang maganda, scientific, nature-based, yun pong pinipresent po natin na proposal sa kanila, yung konsepto, yung plano, it is a very comprehensive proposal of plans, programs, and activities that would have to be implemented sa kanila pong jurisdiction. Alam ko po na i-implement po nila ng tama ang mga proposals na to. As environmental planners, we look into the comprehensive land use plan of each municipalities and cities. And of course, the mga framework din po ng mga probinsya, ganun po. So doon po na nakikita yung kahit behind the scenes, nakikita naman po yung mga proposals natin na as environmental planners. And then dyan na rin po lumalabas na rin kapag nag-propose po tayo na kailangan meron sigurong social infrastructure. So example ng social infrastructure, siguro hospital, So, diyan papasok na naman sina Architect Heray. Merong ano diyan yung hospital design. Sir, di ba? So, ilalagay natin dun sa development plan. Kailangan dito ng 100 beds na hospital. Anong klaseng hospital? Ganon. So, tapos papasok sina architect. So, ganito ang maganda dyan. Diba? So, pagka ganun po, maganda yung tulungan po natin. Saan naman po pupunta mga opisyales natin, di po ba? So, I'm sure susuportahan po nila tayo.
Good. Okay. Architect rin po?
Yes, opo. Thank you. Kaya po sa UAP, we keep on lobbying with the LGUs for the creation of the Office of City Architect. Kasi city engineers pa lang po yung halos sa lahat.
Correct.
We are lobbying talaga for the creation of City Architect. Kasi alam naman na malaking tulong po ito sa kanila, no, sa LGUs. May mga city architect na tayo, pero ramdam namin ang kakulangan, no? Kung kaya kami po ay patuloy nakikipag-lobby sa mga city councils para maitayo po ang Office of the City Architect. Salamat po.
Yun po.
Sisigundamon ko na rin po. Siyempre, yun pong mga magigiting po natin at saka talaga pong maabilidad na environmental planners po para po sa lahat ng mga municipal, planning and development and planning coordinators po. And of course, up to all of the planning positions po sa government.
Yun po actually po, may follow-up po on that one. No? Ito po, from Amy Toledo. In other countries, they have strict rules on how wastewater should be monitored, especially to protect natural waterways and the oceans with regards to waste. They even monitor how grease comes out of every establishment, the toxins from industrial parks. Dito po sa Pilipinas, what are the initiatives of urban and environmental planners and architects to do something similar po?
Meron po tayong yung environmental compliance certificate. So hindi naman po ECC kaagad diyan di ba? So nagsisimula po siya doon sa environmental examination noon. Na tinitignan po yung outflow o yung emission or yung kung ano yung lalabas doon sa built structure na mangyayari at saka doon sa the community at large. Na banggit po natin kanina yung carrying capacity po at saka po yung siyempre, pagka sinabi mo po na sa tubig, kasama pa rin po natin dyan. May suporta po dyan sa mga sanitary engineers po. Kasama po yan. Computations din po nila. Ayan. Pero more than that po, ibabalanse kasi, pagka kinompute kasi yung mga pagdating sa tubig, kailangan pong makita yung population. At saka, hindi lang po yung population ngayon, kundi ano ang population after some years para po yung mga infrastructure po na itatayo po natin hindi lang po para sa taon na ito kundi yung infrastructure po na yung capacity ng infrastructure na itatayo po natin o ilalagay po natin doon sa ating mga daan, sa ating mga kalye, sa mga may kapasidad na pagsilbahan pa rin ang tayo kahit na dumami na po tayo dun sa locality na yon. So, ganun po. Medyo academic po kasi. But it comes with meron tayong pong konseptong tinatawag na circular economy. So, yan po yung marami po kasi yun yan po yung ano ang waste na pumupunta doon sa dagat na sana hindi na pumunta doon, sana mapapasok na din dyan yung materials recovery facility, yung mga ganun, para hindi ma-pollute po yung ating mga creek, ganun po. So, yung mga ganong aspeto po, lahat yun pupunta doon sa iisang dokumento na tinatawag po natin na unang-una, Environmental Impact Assessment na magiging ECC po.
Okay. Architect Rene, you were going to add po? Nakamute po.
Nakamute po, Architect.
Thank you po. Actually sa amin po, well for the landscape architects, we have our rainwater di po ba? Ito catch ditch, something like a ditch para yung rainwater doon pumasok, di ba? This can be a great health. Wag naman i-konkreto lahat, wag naman isemento lahat. At saka yung
ito yung tinatawag na the porous city po, di ba?
Yes. Opo. Yeah, exactly. Including hardscape, di po, yung mga pavers na porous, na pumapasok ang tubig, It's very environmental. Then wag naman sa pipe lahat, itatapon na lang basta-basta, Alam po ninyo, totoo po yung sinasabi nyo sa tanong, gawa ng ang wife ko being a dentist, kina-question na rin yung tubig coming from the dental chair. Pag lumalabas, it's being questioned now. Opo. Siguro po sa aming mga arkitekto, kailangan po natin may tayo yun nga, nabanggit ni Architect Joy, about the materials recovery facility, perhaps sa bawat barangay, in which biodegradable or non-biodegradable and recyclable materials are sorted. Ang alam ko po, itong mga materials recovery facility are being currently established. Meron na po yan ba sa schools, malls, and the like. Medyo chinecheck na rin po yun. I think all will benefit for this very environmental. Salamat po.
Architect, there's another question. Many sectors have been advocating for the enactment of national land use law. What are your groups, UAP and EP, positions on this?
Thank you for that. The Philippine Institute of Environmental Planner had been advocating this bill for quite some time. Yun po, alam po namin na makakatulong po ito sa ating lahat. At so kailangan po namin kayo na isulong po natin ito. Kasi katulad mo sa mga katanungan ninyo, kailangan po talaga natin pangalagaan ang ating lugar. Kailangan din po natin makita na yun nga po, yung synergy nga po ng isa't isa, di po ba? Kapag maganda yung lugar natin, hindi po deteriorating because of a lot of things. One, sa totoo lang po, kaya po nagde-deteriorate ang ating earth, kagagawan din natin. Diba? So, medyo kailangan po natin ito para po mas magiging sustainable po at saka mas equitable po ang land use po natin, ang paggamit po natin ng lupa. Hindi lang po kasi ito lupa Nandyan din po yung air, nandyan din po yung na tubig. Ang dami po, mga puno, pati po yung mga meron palang silbi, kahit yung mga kutita, meron din po pala silang purpose to make our environment more sustainable. So, magtulungan po tayo para po dito sa Land Use Act na to, National Land Use Act. It will make the use of our land, kasi marami po yan Ang land hindi lang po para sa atin na kung saan tayo magtatrabaho, hindi lang po para kung saan tayo titira. Meron din po yan sa infrastructure land. At saka syempre po meron din po yung mga preservation land. And then kailangan din po natin na talaga meron din po sana tayong mga production land. So hopefully po, ito pong land use, para po talagang lahat ng mga anong klaseng land yan, merong portion na matitira po para dyan for each purpose of the land. Thank you po. Thank you for the support.
Yeah. Architect Rene, you want to add something?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Of course, sa UAP, we support the National Land Use Act and do a proposed bill, of course, that aims to promote, enforce sustainable practices and to protect country's natural environment. Alam nyo, pag naipasa ito, this would provide further safeguards to biodiversity and clearer guidelines for infrastructure development. As architect, and at the same time a landscape architect, I personally support this bill para po to make sure that land is properly utilized and classified according to the general purposes of conservation, food production, and residential and infrastructure. With this po, naniniwala ako na of course, na our country can alleviate the effects of potential natural disasters po. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, before we move on to the next question, our national president, Ms. May, was raising her hand. So, isama lang po natin sa discussion.
Yeah, thank you. I commend all our participants, including our moderators and speakers, for focusing on our country's development, especially for environment. So I salute you all. Thank you.
Thank you rin po, Ms. May.
Very much, Ma'am Imelda.
Thank you po. Salamat.
Sir, there's one more question po in the area of urban planning, addressed again to both of you. One of the main causes being blamed for our current congestion, traffic, and poor urban development is the lack of or inappropriate design and planning of urban communities. What are your comments on this blame on poor urban communities, and what are your ideas on how we can address the situation?
The Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners has been here since 1969. And so, ilang years na po kami? 52 na po, Yun, opo. At isa po sa mga naging achievement din po ng environmental planning is yan nga po yung mga regionalization, yung mga ganun po. And somehow, we have to admit na nagkaroon po ng hindi naman po vacancy, kundi siguro nasan tabi or something na nandyan yung plano, pero kailangang mabalikan at ma-implement. So, isa po yun sa mga kailangan po nating tutukan na alam din naman po yan ng mga arkitekto, no? Na minsan tayo, mga architect, gumagawa tayo ng plano, ganyan. Tapos depende sa kung sino yung magtatayo ng building na yon, kung itatayo talaga o hindi. So, wala naman pong maraming dahilan, pero ang kailangan po natin ngayon is talagang pagplanuhan na po natin ngayon kung paano po na yung pag-unlad po ng ating mga rural communities nasa tamang pagpaplano, nasa tamang kapasidad ng urbanidad. Ganun po. So, we are now, of course, fast-tracking all of this planning. We already have this ambition po natin. Nandyan na rin po ang mga regional frameworks, nandyan na rin po ang mga provincial frameworks. and with the support of the DILG and DSUD and of course DNR and all the sectors of the government, the comprehensive land use plan is already being pushed to all local government unit, and there are already a lot of government units who have this comprehensive development plan with zoning that is ready to be implemented. So ito po, ang implementasyon niya is, kaya nga po nakikisinergize po tayo sa ating mga built environment practitioners para po ang mga pulisiya na ito makita po natin sa mga built environment natin, sa mga bahay, tamang setbacks, tamang mga easements, tamang computations lang po ng mga height, mga building heights, mga ganun po. So, pwede po nating, we can redeem the time. Yan lang po ang masasabi ko. So, it is a very opportune time for us. We saw the effect. We have now this pandemic. Hindi ko naman po sinasabing lahat ng mga ito is nagresulta lahat dito sa pandemic na ito. Pero marami, nakikita po natin ngayon yung mga epekto, no? So, that's why I enjoin each and every one of us, including myself. I also enjoin myself to be able to have this sustainable vision ng pag-progress po ng ating komunidad. So, hindi lang po para sa economic progress natin, para rin po sa cultural and heritage preservation natin, para din po yan sa magiging magandang lifestyle po. Hindi lang po para sa atin, kundi para rin po sa mga anak at saka apo po natin, kung uumpisahan po natin ngayon. Salamat po.
Architect Joy and Architect Rene, there are a lot of questions on urban planning and environmental planning. But for the sake of time, we will. There are other questions other than urban planning. So what we will do from NREA, we will send you all those questions, and we will be glad to get your answers on those queries. But meantime, let us shift to other questions, like on the buildings. There's this one question from our participants. Current literature suggests that in a situation like our current pandemic, the aerosol spread pandemic, free-flowing air will be significant in lowering the risk of infection, just as practiced during the old times. But how can we reconcile the recommendation for free-flowing through ventilation with the dominant design of air conditioning dependent buildings in the Philippines?
Kaya kailangan po natin ng tamang pagpaplano. At saka si Architect Heray, I'm sure ang mga designs po niya tropical designs po yan. Tama po ba, Architect Heray?
In addition, alam po ninyo yung isang project ko, sinulatan po ako ng owner, asking kasi po meron na ngayon sa through DOLE, they're asking about the ventilation. Teka, it's like this okay, ito. We'd like to inquire if the ventilation design of our building, yun po yung sulat sa akin nung client, follow the ASTRE 62.1 standard as per DOLE department order. May department order na po. Kaya I think ventilation is very important. They ask us as well as the mechanical system. I make an assurance that ang mga bintana po namin nabubuksan. There is a cross ventilation in the office if you want to, di po ba, no, architect? Imagine, sumusulat na rin po sila. Kaya we should be aware of this as designers. Yeah. Salamat po.
Yeah, thank you po on that one. Actually po, a follow-up question on that one po is para specifically po naka-address sa inyo po, Architect Rene. Sir, Having practiced in Singapore, you are familiar with HDB developments that employ external, outward-facing, single-loaded corridors. These kinds of corridors guarantee continuous fresh air ventilation, so would be healthier in a pandemic situation.
Yeah.
Why do you think the Philippine market resists these single-loaded corridors?
Oo nga po, no. Thank you for that. Totoo po yun. Ano? Actually, I did not work in Singapore. I work in China and the Middle East.
Ah.
Pero nakikita po siya of every time opo, no? Ganon. Tama po siya. Maganda po yun. I just really don't, hindi nga masyado ginagamit. Is it partly, I don't know, partly safety purposes? Safety? Unless we should, make the railings much higher. Ano po, no? That could be one, pero that's good. It's nice, ano. Using the corridor outside, along para yung ventilation is maximized. Opo. Then perhaps mostly the windows, design of the windows is just right across when you open it, hindi po ba directly outside, baka po ginagamit dito. Ganoon.
Yeah, Architect Joy, would you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. So in support po para po kasi alam naman po natin na minsan mainit po kahit sa labas, mainit na rin yung mahamog, yung temperature in itself mainit ano. So susuportahan po ng environmental planners yan na gagawin po nating yung sabi ni Architect Hiray nga kanya na permeable po yung ating mga hindi lahat konkreto, permeable po sana yung ating mga kapaligiran. 'Di ba Architect Hiray? Saka,
yes.
Hindi lang po yung puno-puno, hindi lang yung mga, basta meron na akong, ang tawag niyan, mga plants dyan, okay na. Kundi tamang klase ng puno ang ilalagay po natin dyan. Kasi kung masyadong mataas, baka naman sagabal naman yan sa ating mga electric lines. So, baka naman yung puno yun masyadong kakain din ng tubig. So yung tamang puno doon sa tamang lugar. Ganun po. So maganda po yun. Tsaka pagka marami tayong park, maraming project ang mga landscape architect pagka ganon. Pero it will also help. It will also help of course balance and contribute to para pagka binabuksan ni Architect Hira yung bintana nila, ay magandang hangin yung darating. Ganon.
Galing ni Architect.
Architect Joy and Architect Rene, we would like to thank you. Sobrang dami po talagang questions, but we will just ask the last two questions. Anyway, papadala namin sa inyo yung iba pang mga tanong ng ating mga participants. Sobrang dami, nakakatuwa po. Very, very successful business forum. This is the question from the audience. For Architect Rene, it is said that architects are the lead in charge of design and project planning. What does that entail in the development of the project?
Oh yes. It's the lead, no? Of course, leading all the professionals kasi sa kanya po nag-start ang design The birth of design itself nag-start sa architect. Then of course, hindi po magagawa ng architect lahat yun. Of course, we need all the other professionals to join us, of course, to work with us, kanya-kanyang specialty. From all, of course, the engineers, the civil engineers, the structural engineers, electrical, mechanical, sanitary, to join together para yung birth of an idea, magawa.
Okay. Follow-up question for both Architect Joy and Architect Rene. How do architects work hand in hand with other professionals to achieve the project's owner's goal? What happens when conflicts arise? For example, when the engineers say, change the design to be more efficient.
Go ahead. Okay.
Kukumbinsihin, pagka ganun po, kukumbinsihin ko po talaga. Of course, I'm still an architect and practicing architect. Talagang i-explain ko, tapos kukwentuhan ko yung owner. Kasi at the end of the day, it's the owner who's going to build or not build it. Diba? If I'm able to catch yung gusto po niyang lifestyle dun sa kanyang bahay, I'm sure, at saka makukumbinsi siya dun sa mga hindi lang yan drawing kasi yan yung nanggaling sa hindi lang nanggaling dito kundi nanggaling sa 7 years na yata ngayon, Sir Architect Hiray, 5 years and then 2 years na one. So, marami pong pinanggalingan yun. Tapos i-explain na, maganda yan. Kwentuhan ko siya na, ito, pagka pumunta ka dyan, itong mangyayari sa'yo, maganda ang umupo ka lang dyan, makikita mo lahat ito, mga ganyan. Diba? So, pangkumbinsi ba na, at saka ito, matibay din, of course. Bakit siya matibay? Kasi na-enjoy mo yung lahat ng sintimo ng pag-build ng bahay na yan. Hindi yung kung walang ilaw, tapos mababangga ka kung saan-saan, masikip, hindi pumapasok yung mga bed or mga di ba? So, tapos kung 10 kayo doon sa bahay, hindi kayong siksikan lahat doon sa maliit na make comfort, di ba? What else? Kontento ka dun sa lugar na yon. May privacy ka, meron kang marami pong konsepto yan na hindi ka madudulas diyan kasi maganda itong tiles na to. Medyo minsan mahal, minsan hindi, pero okay yan. So ganun po yung mga ganun ako mag-convince si architect. Ikaw ba?
Okay, in addition po, alam po natin na ang building structure is not a one-man team, It is a collaborative process, a collaborative effort. Then it's also a teamwork. Lahat naman po 'yan na pag-uusapan, 'di ba? Starting from the architect, then perhaps you can say, bakit ganoon? Ba't ganito ang design? Hindi po ba, Alam po niyo lahat pinakikialaman natin, pati ilaw, di ba, wiring na lang ginagawa ng electrical. Nilolocate na po natin ng ilaw para mag-balance sa loob. Of course, with the support of the professional, the electrical engineers and po. So architects like kami nila, ayan, ni Architect Joy, at sa mga architect na nandito, need other professionals for the proper execution of their design plans. At kung di dahil lang sa ating mga allied professionals, this design will not come into a reality. Hindi po namin kaya yun na of course we have the idea, the concept, of course, but we need professionals. This is going to be a collaborative effort. While overseeing the overall project's progress, kami, architects, we leave to our trusted colleagues in the industry to execute their respective expertise. Kanya-kanya pong di po ba field, And I know and I believe they are also excited, Madalas pag mas mahirap yung project, mas excited silang gawin yon. Yun na lang iniisip ko. Thank you po.
Gusto nila yung mga challenges.
Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Ed, much as we would want to accommodate all questions, but unfortunately, we're running out of time and we have so much here to. And just before we proceed to the reading of the certificates, I would like to acknowledge first some of the personalities here because it would be rendering this service or this would be mortal sin without mentioning these names. So we are very honored to have with us today former Governor Obit Pagdanganan, ENP Esther Carten from MPDO, Sarangani Province, ENP Nestor Delisay from Davao del Norte, Amilodin Abdul Karim from Iligan City, Christy Espeloy, ENP from South Cotabato, ENP Bernadette Naval from South Cotabato, ENP Ronald Noel de Gracia from Oriental Mindoro, ENP Rodit Delfino from Sopot Provincial Hospital, ENP Roberto Bagong from South Cotabato, ENP Jalila Sumagina, ENP Rowena Ignacio, ENP Elmer Oliveros from Sarangani, ENP Manuel Kalungsod, Locsin from Coronadal, ENP Paz Cagimbal of PIEP, Camarines, ENP Efren Montilde from Davao del Oriental, ENP Ivy Gesto from General Santos City, Architect Nestor Santos, the Sud R3 Engineer Doy Balgos, Architect ENP Leiron de Guzman, Nash Dugasan, Architect Paula Manalansan, Architect Anthony Sarmiento from Manila Centrum, ENP Rowena Ignacio, Vice President for Marketing of Davis Paint, Miss Joji Quintos, Architect April Diestro, and from California, Day Pangilinan. Thank you so much. Now we proceed to the awarding and reading of certificates.
Ito, ano.
So I read the certificate. So the National Real Estate Association, the one-stop trade organization, awards this certificate of appreciation, or this certificate is proudly presented to architect Renato A. Heray, FUAP, AA, FRIA, PALA, IFLA, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association, particularly as special guest and speaker during the NREA Business Forum Online Professional Synergy in Real Estate on March 25, 2021 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by the Board Chairman, Benigno Cabriato Jr., National President, Imelda Magtoto, Chair Emerita and Chair Lady Board of Advisors, Marisa Del Mar, and yours truly, Secretary General Ronnie Biando. Thank you, Sir NP Rene.
Yeah, maraming salamat po. Thank you.
Also, this certificate of appreciation is proudly presented to Architect Maria Jorquesa Acholna, PIEP National President of the PIEP, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association, particularly as special guest and speaker during the NREA Business Forum Online Professional Synergy in Real Estate on March 25, 2021 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by Benigno Cabriato Jr., Board Chairman, Imelda Magtoto, National President, Marisa Del Mar, Chair Emerita, and Chair Lady Board of Advisors, and Ronnie Biando, Secretary General. Thank you, Architect Joy.
Thank you very much, po. Thank you very much. It's our pleasure. Yeah.
Miss Lane.
Wow.
We are always in search of something better. Better jobs, better lifestyle, better investments. Here at Forest Lake, we offer you an alternative, an extraordinary, and a better experience through My Forest Lake portal. Our online portal gives you access to viewing and purchasing of memorial lots safely and conveniently from your home. It provides a place where you can centralize the management of your memorial lot investments with easy access to customer information and services. Registering in My Forest Lake is easy. Just follow these 3 easy steps. Creating a new account is simple. Go to www.forestlakememorialparks.com. Click on Customers on the upper right corner of the site and you will be directed to the My Forest Lake Customer Portal. Step 1. Click the link and fill out the form or register using your Facebook account by simply clicking on Login with Facebook. Step 2. Input necessary details as needed. And click Next. Step 3. Verify your mobile phone or registered email. Congratulations! You have successfully registered your account. Enjoy a faster, easier, and more secure way of managing your Forest Lake investment at the palm of your hands. View and purchase lots within the safety and comfort of your home. Take advantage of online services exclusive to registered customers. No more long lines when paying your dues. You can now pay through our secure payment options and documented online transactions. You can even chat with our customer service representatives for any concerns. Convenient, right? For inquiries, email us at customerportal@forestlakeparks.com or contact our branch office. Sign up now and start enjoying a better online experience now with Forest Lake. Visit www.forestlakememorialparks.com or follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Sign up today and start your investment journey with Forest Lake.
Okay, that was a very interactive discussion among our speakers, moderators, and questions from the participants. Just as the built environment should work in harmony with the natural environment, real estate professionals should all work closely and interact together in order for our development to draw out their real worth and value of our properties. And this we have heard from our two esteemed guest speakers how architects, environmental planners, landscape architects, and brokers can work efficiently to make our environment both built and natural more sustainable, friendly, and inclusive. To deliver his closing remarks, let us all hear it from our board chairman, Mr. Benigno Cabrieto Jr.
Fellow NREANs, guests, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I wish everyone to be safe always at this time of the pandemic. The good news is that the vaccine have started to arrive and more are coming. I guess all of us need to innovate and work together to be able to survive this pandemic challenge, or else, and the alternative is not an option. We must overcome this by all means. And we can do this and survive together. That to me is what our topic for today, which is professional synergy among architects and other professionals, is all about. This is working together. We achieve synergy when the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, or simply there is synergy when 1 + 1 = 3. I think this is the only way we can overcome our situation, and with the help of architects, together with other professionals, we can have a healthy and suitable built environment in harmony with our natural environment. Thank you to our speakers, member participants, our friends, supporters, and sponsors. With that, I now formally close our forum. God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Benny. That concludes our Business Forum Online March edition. But just before you go, please turn your camera on so we can have a virtual group photos all together.
We are having our virtual group photo. Congratulations to all who made this business forum possible. Thank you very much to our resource speakers, NP Rene and NP Joy. Thank you so much. Our sponsors, Shanti Gem, Eganson Inc., Davis Paints, Houseland, Forest Lake, and Golden Haven. To all of you all over the globe, maraming salamat, stay safe, and God bless us all. Good morning, NREA.
God bless everyone. Thank you. Thank you to all.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations. Good morning.
Thank you to the speakers.
We also enjoyed the attendees to please sign up and be a member of NREA, di ba, Miss May Magtoto? Let's all enjoy and everyone to participate and become members of our ever-growing family.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you wish to
Salamat
watch the
sa
replay, you
lahat.
can find the replay at our NREA Philippines Facebook page. See you there.
Vice Chair Ricky, happy birthday again.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you.
Grace. Architect Grace. Architect.
Malayo pa, birthday.
Architect Joy. Our speaker. Wala na.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you'd like to meet Architect Grace the last time kasi gusto kanya makilala Architect Grace. She's from Baguio, our speaker.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we had